Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about Chinese product being low quality and cheap. I have been hearing this for over a decade, back when social media wasn't that popular as now. A lot of people back then used to believe and still believe about the criticism that Chinese products are terrible. That's why you would see it like sometimes in the movies or people talking around saying that don't buy stuff from China because they're cheap and they are low quality and they break easily. And until now, recently I spoke to one of my friends and he still had that same old belief that Chinese products are unsafe and they break easily because they use low quality products, right? Let me tell you guys this. Obviously, not everybody are rich. There are poor people out there, and that's a fact. The thing that I want you guys to understand, and it's very simple. First of all, Chinese people, they just they could make high quality products too, but they chose to go to different direction. You know why? Because they want customers. They want people to keep buying their products. And that's why they decided to use decent quality material to make products. Why? So that it can be cheap and affordable. But if you want things to be high quality, high standard so that it can last long, like how American wants it, you know, things are gonna be expensive. And that's just a very common sense thing to understand. If you want something high quality, it's gonna be expensive. And can you afford to buy it? Depending on your income, obviously. But I know none of my friends. I mean, it's kind of more like they could buy it, but they won't because it's overpriced pretty much. And that's the thing that I want people to understand. And every time I'm on social media like Facebook, when they talk about Chinese car, the BYD, how they talk or like they show posts about like how China is able to create the train and all that in a very short period amount of time. And of course the American people would criticize that by saying things like, oh, they will break within like 2 years. Well, let me tell you this one thing. Have you guys ever thought about it this way? Okay, how do I say it? Like, let's say if Chinese use low quality material to build a train and it breaks easily, let's say if it's true. But there's one thing that you guys don't realize is that at least Chinese people, they get the job done, right? They get the job done. They were able to build a train and completed it without overspending the money. When it comes to America, like for example, California, they've been trying to build bullet train for how many years, right? And of course, American standard thing has to be expensive, high quality, safety, and all that. So guess what happened? It's never finished because there's not enough money. Trump recently just pulled $1 billion federal, fund for that railroad train. So most likely they're not gonna do it. So you see the differences. Chinese people, they have low budget to build something. It probably break easily, but at the same time, if it breaks, you can fix it. But one thing for sure is they could finish it. They build it and they completed it. Unlike America, where they feel like it's expensive, too much money, just don't do it or just quit in the middle. In America, when they're gonna do like a train, everyone has to be licensed engineer, top pay, high salary, and the train has to be like a premium material, blah 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 blah. Why? Because safety, right? Safety is a good thing, but in reality, but the problem with America is that every little thing here is lawsuit, right? If little accident happen, someone's get injured, that person is gonna look to sue the company, and they're gonna sue them for a lot of money. But in China and Asia, you can sue people, but not to the level of United States, where like you can literally sue people for anything, and you can sue them for tons of money, more than the damage itself. So that's why, this is where we have problems in America. And you guys have to understand, like yes, you want things to be long lasting, high quality, but you guys don't realize that if that's what you want, it's gonna be expensive. Like I remember one time my friend told me that, like, yeah, like, he's like, yeah, made in China products are terrible for them. So then I told my friend, I challenged my friend, I said, like, if you don't like, we were talking about Nike shoe actually. So I basically told him that, like, if you don't like Nike products because they made in China, or anywhere, like, from like a small country, and you think it's cheap. So I challenged him. I said, why don't you go to luxury store right now and go buy those leather shoe, like Louis Vuitton shoe, Gucci shoe, even though, okay, they probably manufacture in Asia, but at least they are leather, right? At least, they're known to be high quality. And then when I say that, he got mad at me for pretty much shutting him up, because it's true. Before you complain, check your ability to buy. Do you have enough money to buy those things? So if you cannot, upper your lifestyle, then don't complain. If your wallet only allows you to buy Nike brand, American brand, then deal with it. Don't complain for better quality, because once you go up to that, once you go up that level, you just can't afford it. So why complain? And this is the thing that most Americans don't freaking realize. Like, fast food in America used to be cheap. Now it's expensive, right? But when we talk about McDonald's, like for example, for my country, Thailand, back then America used to be, fast food America used to be cheap. People would go there because it's cheap and it's convenient. But in Thailand, eating McDonald's is always expensive. Even Starbucks in Thailand is expensive. You know why? Because everything has to follow American standard. Okay? They want, American ingredient, American products, American products, equipment, and everything. And that's why it's expensive. That's why sometimes most people, they rather go to drink Chinese coffee. I forgot the company name, but that's where they're going now, because it's just cheaper and it tastes better. You see, this is a problem with American business model. Let's say if China wants to sell one pair of shoe, or America wants to sell one pair of shoe, right? Chinese people, they would use, low to medium material to make the shoe, and they would sell them extremely cheap, because they want to collect little profit, right? So think about that. They want to collect little profit. That attracts people. So they're collecting little profit one after another. That's why they make more profit than America. Unlike America, where they take forever to build that shoe. Two, they want that shoe to be extremely high quality. And third, they would sell them expensive. And fourth, they would try to make a lot of profit from it. You see what I mean? That's the problem with America, because they want to make every product expensive with high profit, versus China, where, they make the price low so that they collect little profit. But what they want is, they want more people to go to them and buy their products. This is the thing that Americans don't understand. And like I told you guys, and I told all my friends, that if you don't like product made in China, you want to be all American, why don't you go home right now and just empty everything that's made, at least made in China. Forget in other country. Throw away everything in your room that made in China, and see what would you have left. And if you want to go further than that, why don't you just throw away everything that's not American made, and see what would you be left out with. Now Trump, yes, he's trying to bring back manufacture to this country, because he thinks that, like, if you produce it here, it will be no tariff, whatever. But in reality, you can have to understand, hiring American is more expensive. Okay, let me give you an example. Thailand, okay. My girlfriend is an HR for a mall in Thailand, and we're on the phone all the time, because she's over there, I'm here in the United States. When we're on the phone, I would hear her, I would listen to her interviewing people, and every time she hired, people to work, she always tell them that, like, that we only pay 300 baht. The currency in Thai is called baht. 300 baht a day, not hour. We pay 300 baht a day, right? So 300 baht a day, I believe is $10 a day, right? So you know, if you go, okay, I know that the currency $1 is probably like 35 right now in Thailand, but let's just make it easier by using 30. So think about this: you can hire Thai people to work for you 8 hours, and you pay them $10 a day. That's way cheaper, because if you hire American, you have to end up paying them $10 per hours, plus benefits, plus workers' comp and all that crap. And if you have to pay if you have to hire America and pay them that much money, you think that making products in America will be cheap? It would not be cheap. It's still gonna be more expensive than hiring Thai people. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Thai people, they get 300 baht per day, which is $10 per day. And this is another thing that you Americans don't understand. We like to make fun of China, saying things like, oh, you know, they only get $2 a day, $5 a day, stuff like that. But you guys don't realize that that $5 a day, $10 a day, if you do the math, it will be like it's actually their minimum wage. It's just that the dollar is so stronger. That's why like it makes it sounds like a joke. Like, why would I work for $10 a day? Yeah, because that $10 a day is equal to bigger money in other countries' currency. You guys don't understand that. That's the thing. You guys just simply go by the fact that, oh my god, $10 a day, that's terrible. That's unfair labor. That's torturing. But you don't know how it is over there, man. You know, you guys don't know how it is over there. So like I said, you guys really have to think like, yeah, if we make products in America, we will save money from exporting, but it's still gonna be expensive because hiring American is expensive. And another thing is that, do you think that Americans are disciplined enough to be doing those kind of jobs? I don't think so. You know, it takes skill to do those things, and I don't think American can do it. They probably can do it, but I guarantee you, it wouldn't be as good as compared to Asian people, because we are more humble than American people. You know, so yeah, like I said, Chinese people. I'm sorry, Chinese people can make good products, but their business model is different than us. But I do know that a lot of people are really enjoying their car, the BYD. I went to Thailand. I've seen so many BYD, and they all love it. You know, all of my friends, they have the Chinese phone called Huawei, HUAWEI, and they love that phone. That phone is one of the best. And these two products from China, which is the car and the cell phone, are so good. And that's why American has to block it. And when they try to block it, they always try to scare you by saying that, like, oh, it's a threat of our national security. They will use their system to steal your data. If you think about it, that's all that American always said. They will steal your data. They will steal your data. They will steal your data. Come on, man. You act like people. You don't act like we don't have scammer here. Come on. I'm telling you right now, America, it was beautiful, but now it's just dumb with all the fake news. And right now the government are throwing tantrum because social media is exposing them. You know, there's people out there that like Americans are now traveling a lot more than before, a lot more than the 80s and early 2000. They travel a lot more now. They can see and experience things more. That's why all of them are now making content on social media where like they go to Thailand, they don't want to come back. When they come back here, they feel the stress. You know, think about the airport here. All TSA police they're so aggressive and rude, but in Thailand, both cops, you know, the immigration officer, they're super friendly. They don't need to be mean. Like here, it's always about intimidation. It's just ridiculous here in America, man. It's all about intimidation. That's why it's not friendly here. And it's not fun coming back. I hate coming back here every time I'm going to my vacation. But like I told many people, you have to travel so you can understand me. And when you travel, you have to go to countries that are developed. If you travel but you go to like those underdeveloped countries, you will not know what I mean. You have to go to China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand. You have to go to Dubai. You know, you don't just go to like Africa, like Iran. Come on, and you want to count that? That's stupid. Just saying. With all due respect, you know, if you want to see countries that are doing better or close to America, like I said, you gotta go to China, Japan, South Korea, Dubai, and you will be surprised how close or better they are than us, and their culture too. They're way safer than us. I'll tell you that right now. At least in Thailand, I can walk to 7-Eleven in the middle of the night and don't have to be worried about getting robbed. But unfortunately now, Thailand has free visa, and that's why all the Western people are going there, and they ruin things up. It wouldn't surprise me if I go to Thailand next week if I end up getting to a street fight with one of those white people, because sometimes I just can't stand them, because I feel like if you're gonna come to my country with your attitude, then be ready, man. But yeah, I don't get off topic, but yes, once again, Chinese people can make good products, so they don't just make bad products. So think again.